Yeah, you got a new table. Hare Krishna.
Govinda's going to get you out of here by 9:30 and he's going to drive you home.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Make Japa Great Again. And just this morning, I was doing a little writing, and previously I had been talking about attitude and how important it is. But I didn't quite like the word as much, especially because somehow or other I borrowed somebody else's, what has become sort of a cliche, and it was annoying me, which is your attitude determines your altitude. It's a little too sing-songy and overused. So I started thinking more about frame of mind. And I remembered something I read in a book, which you've probably heard me mention many times, called The Art of the Start by Guy Kawasaki, one of the people who helped start Apple. And he talked about, he said, frame or be framed. You have to decide what the purpose of your life is and how you want it to go, so you can frame it. And then I looked up the word frame. It comes from Middle English, and it has to do with preparing the timber for a house. To frame it. It's still used in that way, because you frame up a house before you build the rest of it. And so it's really important to develop our frame. And to remember also that if we don't frame who we are and what's most important to us in life, then somebody else will frame it for us and say, no, you have to do this. It's like, why do I have to do that? It's because I said so. Well, you get to say so as a human. So I'm writing this little guide for people who are trying to get to 16 rounds and maintain them. And so I was considering some of the main framing points that have to be in place in order to maintain or get to and then maintain chanting 16 rounds of japa. So here are the 4 main frames that I'm writing about. The first one is know what's in it for you, because we naturally gravitate towards what we perceive as being in our greatest interest. We may have different perspectives about what's good for us depending on what mode of nature we're in. But if we take advice from the Shastra about the ultimate benefit of chanting, for instance, in the 6th canto of the Bhagavatam and the story of Ajamil, we can gain the perspective of the benefit of chanting japa, or even saying the Lord's name in the first place. That's a major category. Know what's in it for you. The next one is that make your pledge your wedge. That you have to make a commitment that you're going to chant a certain amount every day. And last night I met a few young women from San Jose State that Mukharvind is cultivating all these students, and several of them showed up last night. They're very interested in being engaged in Krishna consciousness, and they wanted to know if they could chant. So I asked them about how much they were chanting now, and they said they do chant, but it's not consistent. So I was just telling them that if they made a commitment to chanting a certain amount every day, then they would make progress. So I made them commit to at least chanting 2 mantras a day. And don't go below that, because some days they were doing some, sometimes they weren't doing any. But when we make a pledge, that's a part of chanting japa, and it's a vow. And we're called devotees. The word devotee literally means in Latin somebody who keeps a vow. The third is to make voluntary life improvements. Because unless we actively make improvements and voluntarily do it, then our lives will go in directions that aren't as productive. And finally, the fourth frame is to keep the transcendental trail open, meaning that one of the ways to lose one's progress, you got? Thank you, is just to take enough time off that the trail closes. For instance, in writing, if you're writing something and then you leave it for long enough, when you go back to it, it takes a much longer time to start again, even remember where it is in your hard drive. And it's a similar way with any practice that we have. Unless we give it attention, it becomes overgrown. The trail becomes overgrown. And as I like to say, at least physically, it's easier to stay in shape than to get in shape. Because if you let yourself go, making a comeback can be really hard. In the meantime, you can develop all kinds of conditions that are almost impossible to overcome. So it's the same in Japa also, and keeping the trail open, giving as much as possible to the practice and not becoming estranged from it so that it becomes overgrown. So again, the four frames, know what's in it for you. There's a lot of cultivation from Shastra, and I'm writing about those points. Make your pledge your wedge, which means be really dedicated to your vow of how much you chant every day. And the next is to voluntarily make improvements in your life. Think ahead, be preemptive in doing it. That's what voluntary means. No, it doesn't, but it's related. And number 4 is keep the transcendental trail open. What do you think? If I try hard enough, maybe I can. Any specific realization you want to share in reflection? Yes. Pardon me? What does the trail mean? Trail means that you're doing something over and over again. I was in Italy a few years ago and I made a little video because I saw these ants. They're so industrious. They make little highways through the brush. And I was watching them and I took a video of them and I saw how, because they're going on the same route over and over again, now there's a trail. There's underbrush, but they just cut right through it. So the trail is what we decide we're going to do every day, like our practice of sadhana. And when we do it over and over again, then it opens a space for us. And people around us, for instance, get used to the fact that we're doing it. Like sometimes family members, when we first start some practice, they go, "Oh, come on, you're not going to keep that." But the more you do it, the more it keeps the trail open, and everyone gets used to the fact that that's what he does. And if you then deviate from that and it gets overgrown again, then it's much harder to open it up. That's what it means, keep the trail open. Yes. I'd like to welcome Bhakta Brent. He drove all the way out here from Utah. He's Charu Prabhu's right-hand man in the Utah project, and he's been watching ISV for some time now. Just decided to drive out here for Radhashtami with his wife. Welcome, Bhakta Brent. Hare Krishna.
Is this on? Yes.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of what you were talking about, the frame. I was thinking a frame needs to be on a foundation. And I was just wondering, would the foundation be the paraparam, or what would be the foundation of that?
Well, the way I'm putting it now, I'm putting these 4 as a frame or the frame of the foundation. That cultivating knowledge of why you're doing it and what's the benefit for you, and then making the vow, the ones that I mentioned. So sort of frame and foundation I'm using synonymously. Unumas?
The first frame really, I have seen that what it is for me, if we are more conscious about that fact, it really helps us to chant better rounds and improve our rounds. And also do 16 rounds also. So that's very first frame you have very aptly put.
Generally, people fade away from the japa practice because of thinking something else is more beneficial to them. Whereas if we understand that our fortune comes from being in contact with Krishna, and that is accomplished by chanting japa, then the mind may be convinced to be steady in chanting. One from this side? Yes, one more from here.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I remember one point that you mentioned yesterday morning. We read a purport 2:35, I think, and Prabhupada mentions there that how do we understand the presence of Super Soul. So there's one sentence which says one should begin with the intelligence, and then one should try to understand the Vedic scriptures, and then principally by the grace of the Lord one can realize this. So I really like that although we have all these frames, so this is our sincerity, and then ultimately we have to depend on the blessings of Krishna and the devotees.
Yes.
So that is very nice, Maharaj.
And in that regard, Louis Pasteur once said, the great discoveries come only under the prepared mind. And to discover Krishna's mercy, we also have to prepare. Make sure you're there. Show up for it. Anything from this side? Yes, Avantika.
Hare Krishna, I like the point that you made about how, according to the different modes of nature we are currently in, we find different things that are most beneficial for us. And I thought that related to throughout different times of the day, according to what mode of nature is prevailing, you find different things beneficial, but should always remember to keep the Mahamantra in the center.
It's a good point. It's true on a macro and a micro level. Macro level, the way we're seeing the world based on the modalities we're exposed to at the time, and also during the day, it seems a lot easier to chant in the morning than it does after you come home from school or work, right? And the mind is more or less scrambled. Okay, well, in that case, we should take advantage and chant. Thank you very much for entertaining these ideas, and thanks for this table, whoever put it here. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Rama Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Hare Rama
Krishna Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna 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 Hare
Hare
Rama Hare
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare.
Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama Rama
Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare Rama,
Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare, Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama Hare
Krishna,
Rama Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare
Krishna, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Rama,
Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama
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 Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Rama
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama Rama
Rama,
Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Rama
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama Rama
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama
Hare
Rama Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Rama
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama Rama
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Rama Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Sit
Hare Hare,
properly.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Rama,
Ram
Hare Rama,
Ram
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram Hare
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Ram
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram Ram
Rama, Rama
Ram
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Ram Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Hare
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 Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram
Hare Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Ram
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Hare
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 Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Krishna
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram, Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare
Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram, Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Rama Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Ram 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Ram 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 Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram Ram Ram, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Ram Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Ram Ram, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Ram, Hare Krishna, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare Rama,
Hare Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna, Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram,
Krishna, Krishna Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Rama
Ram, Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Hare Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
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 Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram, Ram Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Ram. Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna,
Ram.
Krishna Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Hare Hare, Rama Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Ram Ram Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Ram.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Ram.
Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Ram Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Ram Hare Krishna
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Ram Hare
Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. Sit properly. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
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 Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Ram Ram Hare Ram 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 Ram
Hare Rama
Krishna
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare 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 Rama
Ram
Hare Rama
Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Ram
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hare Rama 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 Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare Hare Rama Hare
Ram Ram Ram
Hare Krishna Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Rama
Ram Ram Hare Krishna Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram
Hare
Hare
Rama Rama Rama
Krishna
Hare 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 Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare Rama
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama Rama
Hare
Rama Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare Rama
Krishna
Hare Rama Rama Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram Ram
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Ram
Rama Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
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 Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram Ram Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare
Rama
Ram
Hare
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 Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Hare Ram Hare
Hare
Ram Ram
Rama
Ram
Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
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 Krishna
Hare Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
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 Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare Rama
Krishna
Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare
Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Hare Ram
Rama Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama
Hare
Rama Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
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 Ram
Krishna Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
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 Ram
Rama Hare
Ram
Rama Rama
Ram
Rama
Hare
Hare Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare Hare
Ram
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Rama
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama Hare 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 Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare
Rama
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna 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 Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hare Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Rama
Ram
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama
Hare
Hare Hare Hare Krishna
Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna Hare
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 Krishna
Hare Rama
Hare Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama
Ram
Hare Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Ram
Krishna Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama
Hare
Hare Hare Hare
Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare 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 Rama
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare Ram
Krishna
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare Rama
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare Hare Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare Rama Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Hare Rama
Hare Ram 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 Hare
Hare Krishna
Ram Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama
Hare
Hare
Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram Ram
Hare Krishna
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 Krishna Hare
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 Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama
Hare
Rama Hare Hare Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare
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 Ram
Hare Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama Rama Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Ram Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama
Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna. Okay. For my own improvement, I wrote this little section. Maybe you'll recognize it. I call it the 11 Principles of Respect. And it's all in the context of chanting Japa, as one might hope, since I'm bringing it up now. Jai Vrinda Devi Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. May I? Yes. Oh, all right. Respect literally means to look at something carefully and then to give due regard to something or someone. To ensure that we give due regard to our japa, there are 11 habits that we can memorize and make part of our lives. They are summarized in the following affirmations. 1, I respect all living beings as part of Krishna, but I especially honor and therefore never criticize Krishna's devotees, knowing that they are dear to him. 2, I respect devatas, powerful controllers of the material world, like Shiva and Brahma, as well as other powerful beings, knowing they are not only parts of Krishna, but they are also controlled by and empowered by him. I never consider any powerful being to be equal to Krishna, for Krishna is the source of everyone's power. 3, I respect and carefully follow the orders of my spiritual master, knowing that my spiritual master strictly follows the process of devotional service and backs up whatever he says with spiritual evidence, and that he is therefore not an ordinary person, but is my direct link to Krishna and his divine representative. He is his divine representative. 4, I respect all scriptures that present God as the supreme being. 5, I respect the holy names of Krishna as non-different from him, and therefore consider whatever praise is given to the Lord's names as true and accurate. 6, I respect the glories and definitions of the holy name given by the great teachers of bhakti as sufficient explanations, and that I therefore need not speculate further about their meaning. 7, I respect the principle that I am a servant of God and his holy names, and that my chanting of his holy names must be done in a mood of service. I never consider chanting the holy names as a means for me to counteract my deliberate misbehavior, done with the intent of clearing the reactions of those transgressions. 8, I respect Krishna's holy names and accept that chanting the Mahamantra is transcendental and superior to all other scriptural injunctions, prescribed duties, or sacrifices meant to live prosperously in the material world. It's time to wake up. 9, I respect the principle given in the Srimad Bhagavatam that it's best for me to avoid speaking about the glories of the holy names to those who are envious of God and who don't want to hear them. 10, I respect the principle that material desires for wantonly gratifying my material senses, are beneath my dignity as a spiritual being. I understand that my spiritual desire to serve Krishna is transcendental and beneficial, and that my desires for my own satisfaction, divorced from my connection with Krishna and Krishna's service, are detrimental to me. 11, I respect the principle that I'm fully responsible for where I direct my attention at any given moment, and that giving my full attention to the Mahamantra while I'm chanting my rounds is essential to improving my chanting and eventually coming to the pure stage of chanting. Do you recognize it, where it comes from? Thanks everyone for joining Make Japa Great Again. We're on an abbreviated schedule today because some water pipe broke here at the temple, and it's creating a little Ganga situation out in the front, and we have to shut down the whole temple and all the water at around 9:30 or so. So we're going to have Guru Puja right after we greet the deities, then we'll go into class and we'll make it snappy. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Mana Mohan, Shri Shri Lakshmana Shringadeva, if you so desire, please let me develop healthy respect for the holy names and the 11 habits of respect. Thank you for considering my request, our request. Om Tat Sat. Vanchakalpadrivishya, Kripasinabheva Chapatitanam Bhavanibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha, Anantakoti Vaishnaviniki Jai.